Welcome to Enigma Files, where history meets mystery. In today's video, we're diving into a truly fascinating and often heartbreaking chapter of early Christian history: the persecution, death, and eventual end of the 12 apostles. These men who followed Jesus through thick and thin faced incredible trials that would ultimately lead to their untimely deaths in often brutal ways. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button if you're a fan of untold stories from the past, share this video with friends who love history, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another deep dive into the mysteries of history. Let's get into it. After the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ, his apostles, once ordinary men, were chosen to carry his message to the world. But their journey was not without great peril. What follows is the story of their unwavering faith despite facing the ultimate cost, their lives. Following the resurrection of Jesus, the apostles began spreading the message of his life, death, and resurrection. They boldly preached the gospel, establishing the early Christian church. But their actions drew the ire of both the Jewish authorities and the Roman Empire. And this is where the real struggle began. Peter, once a humble fisherman, became the rock upon which Jesus built his church, but his bold preaching made him a target. Peter was arrested multiple times, but his faith never wavered. In Rome, under the Emperor Nero's reign, Peter was condemned to death. And here's a twist: Peter was offered the same fate as his Lord, but he requested to be crucified upside down, feeling unworthy to die in the same manner as Christ, a true reflection of humility and faith. And so Peter met his end, but his legacy as the first pope and a foundational leader of Christianity lives on. After Peter's martyrdom, the next apostle to face persecution was James, the son of Zebedee. James was one of Jesus' closest disciples. He was the first apostle to be martyred. Arrested by King Herod Agrippa, James was beheaded in Jerusalem around 44 AD. His death marked the beginning of the apostles' suffering. James' martyrdom served as a powerful testament to the early Christian faith, and it inspired many others to stand firm in their beliefs, despite the cost. Now, let's shift to John, the beloved disciple and the only apostle to die of natural causes. But don't be fooled, it wasn't an easy life. After James, John faced his own trials. He was exiled to the island of Patmos for his outspoken faith. Imagine being isolated on a rocky island, surrounded by nothing but the sea. Yet John still found the strength to write the book of Revelation, the final book of the New Testament, during his exile. John, who lived to the ripe age of 100, died peacefully. But even in death, his legacy of love and faith, as well as the prophetic vision of a new heaven and a new earth, continues to inspire believers today. Moving on to Andrew, the brother of Peter, who spread the gospel far and wide, including to Greece. But his mission came to an end when he was crucified in Patras. Andrew's cross, known as the Salt Sire, has become a symbol of Scotland, standing as a testament to his bravery in the face of persecution. His willingness to die for his faith proved the deep conviction that ran through the apostles' veins. After Andrew's martyrdom, Philip carried on the mission. Philip's travels took him to Asia Minor, where he preached to many. But his story ended tragically when he was crucified in Hierapolis, modern-day Turkey. Philip's death served as another grim reminder of the cost of proclaiming the gospel in a world hostile to Christianity. Next, we turn to Bartholomew, also known as Nathanael, who took the gospel to the far reaches of the world, from Armenia to India, and possibly even Arabia. But his end was horrific. He was flayed alive and then beheaded. Yet his courage, even in the face of such torture, continues to inspire Christians to this day. Now, let's take a look at Matthew the tax collector, who became one of Jesus' most trusted apostles. Known for his role as a gospel writer and preacher, Matthew's journey led him to Ethiopia, where he too faced martyrdom. He was reportedly killed by a sword for his refusal to deny Christ. Thomas, often called Doubting Thomas for initially questioning Jesus' resurrection, eventually became one of the most passionate evangelists. Thomas' faith would never again be questioned. He traveled to India, where he was martyred by being pierced with spears. His story is a reminder that faith, once questioned, can become an unshakable force. After Thomas, we turn to James the Less, the son of Alphaeus. Often called the brother of Jesus, James led the early Christian church in Jerusalem. However, his leadership came to a violent end when he was thrown from the temple and then beaten to death with a club. His death remains one of the lesser-known martyrdoms, but is no less powerful in demonstrating the fierce opposition the apostles faced. Next up is Thaddeus, also known as Lebbaeus, who preached in Syria and Persia. In Persia, he faced a brutal death, either being clubbed to death or shot with arrows. His martyrdom proved the apostles' unwavering courage in the face of overwhelming violence. Following Thaddeus, we have Simon the Zealot, whose name suggests an intense passion for the Jewish law. He traveled to places as far as Britain and Africa. The specifics of his death remain uncertain, but it's believed he was either crucified or sawed in half, depending on the tradition. One thing's for certain: his death was another testament to the unwavering strength of the apostles. Now, we can't forget Judas Iscariot, whose betrayal of Jesus led to his crucifixion. Judas's actions set in motion the chain of events that led to the ultimate sacrifice. Judas met a tragic end. He took his own life, consumed by guilt and remorse. But Judas's betrayal led to the appointment of Matthias, who would take his place among the apostles. Matthias, chosen through prayer and casting lots, went on to spread the message of Christ in Cappadocia. Like his fellow apostles, Matthias's mission ended with martyrdom. Though the apostles' lives were cut short by persecution, their deaths were not in vain. Their blood watered the seeds of Christianity, and their unwavering faith continued to inspire believers for generations to come. Their message spread across the world, ultimately shaping the course of history. Even in death, their legacy lives on. Today, Christianity stands as a testament to their sacrifices, their courage, and their unshakable love for Christ. The apostles, chosen by Christ, faced unimaginable trials, yet they carried on his mission, spreading his message to the corners of the earth. The journey of the apostles reminds us of the strength that faith can inspire, even in the face of unimaginable trials. Their legacy continues to guide us today. Stay tuned as we explore more stories of faith, courage, and the unbreakable bond between Christ and his followers. Don't miss what comes next in this journey of eternal inspiration. Stay with us.